Welcome back to the Squatches Lounge podcast, the voices in the night. This season sure is heating up, folks. And this week, we're off to Wisconsin to look at a couple of Bigfoot vocals from different locations around the state. Some so scary, you may want to turn down your headphones, folks. A brand new SUPER QUASI theory from Gene Cooper, and much, much more. And now, here's the man whose beard has the plan, the Reverend Jeff Kelly.
Mahabone, and welcome everybody to the Squatches Lounge podcast. Look at that. I didn't fat finger the stop button this week. You're in luck. We're not going to have to change links. That's right. We're right here. It is 8 p.m. on Wednesday evening, and it is time for the Squatches Lounge podcast. That's right. Wisconsin, don't you know? I was always disappointed that 70s show never did a Bigfoot episode. I mean, it was a perfect show for the kids to be off like Scooby-Doo. Friggin' trying. Duh. Of course that show was Scooby-Doo. Now I feel like a total dumbass. Hey, anyhow, we have some news to talk about this week. Thanks to our man, Dean the Quasi Scientist. He keeps us on top of all of this crazy Bigfoot newsy stuff right there in the lounge. You can find us at facebook.com/groups/SLounge. And that's where we hang out. You can ask questions. You can tag me, and I'll actually come in and answer stuff for you. Imagine that. Well, you know, for the first time in history, Alabama inspired Texas to do something. Alabama inspired Texas town to proclaim itself the Bigfoot capital. That's right. Apparently, copycats ain't no big deal in Texas. A small Texas town has followed the lead of the Alabama town on Evergreen and named itself the Bigfoot capital of Texas. In February, the mayor of Jefferson, Texas, population 2,000, signed a proclamation making the destination official according to the Lee Peacock of the Evergreen Courant. Well, thank you, Lee Peacock of the Evergreen Courant. That is just astronomical reporting. We do very much appreciate that. The idea came from Craig Woolliater. Imagine that, the founder of the Texas Bigfoot Conference, which is held each October in Jefferson. A local newspaper, the Marshall News Messenger, quoted Woolliater as 13 other cities in the United States use Bigfoot for tourism, and that's where I got the idea from. Damn it! Don't say I'm not original, but we gonna make us some money. I brought sorry folks, I'm putting words in the man's mouth. I brought the idea of the proclamation up to the city after I saw a city in Alabama do the same. Well, hell, they making money on Bigfoot. Why not us too? God, 2018 is the D in the face. I swear to God, everybody wants to make money on Bigfoot this year. There you have it, folks. That's it. It really is the. I've been fighting this show all day. I really have. I literally didn't even get the audio finished cutted. God, my grammar is horrible. Finished cutting until like 7:35 this evening because I'm kind of frustrated. Just kind of frustrated. All right, moving right along here. The whole family will love a trip to this Bigfoot themed restaurant in Virginia. That's right, the Wood Booger Grill. You go from one suckface of making money off of Bigfoot to another suckface making money off of Bigfoot. It's just going to be one of them weeks, I think. And well, who doesn't love a good themed restaurant? Well, we have a few of them here in Virginia, but perhaps none are as quirky as the Wood Booger Bar. Dedicated to all things Bigfoot, this down-home restaurant is sure to charm the whole family with delicious foods and plenty of eccentric decor. Why is it eccentric? I don't know. You'll have to go there and find out. You'll want to add this spot to your dining list. Apparently, it's in Norton, not Lorton, where the prison is. Norton, Virginia. That's where the Wood Booger Bar and Grill is. Well, congratulations to them. Okay, Bigfoot believers to gather for a symposium, some damn place. Apparently, is this the Ohio one? The Mid-American Bigfoot Research Center is Saturday and Sunday in Stillwell, Oklahoma. The reach of the human society is ever expanding, and as people are exploring more uninhabited lands, the chance of discovering a new species or possibly an ancient one increases. The Oklahoma Bigfoot Symposium in Stillwell will feature researchers and Bigfoot experts from around the country, offering their insight and providing evidence for Bigfoot's existence. The symposium is Saturday and Sunday, March 10th and 11th. That's this weekend at CC Camp, and is hosted by the Mid-America Bigfoot Research Center. You'll hear stories about encounters and learn stuff about what to look for when you're out in the woods, and you'll also learn what to notice around your house, because Bigfoot's in everybody's backyard. If you live out in the country, at least. If you've got Bigfoot activity or not, said DWLE, Executive Director of the MABRC, will also have some pictures, video, and audio for people to see. Well, so yeah, this weekend in Oklahoma, head on out to the symposium. San Francisco, that's right here in the Mid-Cal area. They're going to have the Bigfoot Bonanza at the Vogue. Now, you might have to fight your way through Antifa and whoever these Nazis are that they're battling, or fascists, I guess they keep calling them. Once you get through those two groups, you might be able to get into San Francisco again this weekend. Apparently, I don't know if I'd go to San Francisco. Seriously, I mean, you've seen this crap on the news, haven't you? Anyhow, a monthly movie screening at the Balboa Theater in San Francisco's out of Richmond, but this weekend is taking the show on the road. Not that far, though, for the Bigfoot Bonanza to Vogue Theater in Presidio Heights, featuring 27 hours worth of cult classic Bigfoot and Yeti flicks, along with documentary special guest speakers qualified to talk about the mysterious, evasive, upright humanoid. I'd like to see that list of people. Lauren Coleman, there you go. He's written several books, but I don't think he's going to be there. Anyhow, go battle through Antifa and whoever these fascists is that they're fighting, and you might get into that one. This is so badass. I don't even know how to digest all of the information that's in this. Now, it is IFL Science, so you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt and go find 3 other articles that actually back up the crap that they're saying here. But before our ancestors even existed, ancient hominids might have been sailing the seas and discovering new lands. This, according to one researcher, suggests that they were also talking to each other as a result. Now, we like to think that humans are special, and our voice boxes moved in this special configuration, which allows us to form complex vowels and contractions and crap other people can't understand. That's why there's like 93 friggin' languages in China. But in fact, chimps talk to each other in a language that they understand, of squeaks and squeals and hoots and hollers. So that is definitely a communication, a language communication of some sort. Who knows what the Homo line actually was capable of doing? Yeah, our voice boxes now are perfectly designed for speech, but how did they get there? Millions of years of evolution through all the little monkey creatures we used to be beforehand. But the thing that gets me the most about this one, and I've never really thought about Neanderthals or Erectus or Denisovans taking to the seas. We have a hard time finding the point in where the humans took to the seas. I mean, we weren't just like born into sailing around on reed ships. We know that they could have come from South America all the way all the way to Hawaii on balsa wood rafts, and we know that they can something like Kon-Tiki can make that. But I never really considered that the pre-species would have figured out how to make floating mats of grass controllable enough to get across large bodies of water to explore the other side. I guess if you were being chased by a volcano, you'd figure out anything. What do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention. So I guess you can figure out anything when your ass is on fire. But I like this one a lot. So you can check this one out at IFL Science. And bam, just like that, bam, that's the news. Speaking of things that are done just like that, it's time to do something just like that with the newest quasi theory of the season. That's right. And Dean assures me that this mother jammer is extra quasi. Super quasi, if you like. I'm not really sure, but we's about to find out because it's quasi theory time with a quasi scientist from Dean Cooper. And now, Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy. And now, Quasi Theories from a Quasi Scientist with your host, Dean Cooper.
The Higher or Inner Planes, Episode 1. Last July, I did a quasi explanation of karma. In it, I casually threw in the idea of a multi-layered universe. To quote me, the Hindu universe is multi-layered, much like modern quantum physics. There are dimensions within dimensions, with all those dimensions occurring in a substrate, a conscious substrate, technically called the Brahman. End quote. This isn't just a Hindu idea. The idea of higher planes of existence has been around for a long time. All the early cultures, with their associated religions and metaphysical systems, had their different versions of the idea. The one thing common to most of them was how many of these planes there are, and that is, including the physical plane, there are 7 of them. Yep, 7, sort of. Sort of because they all acknowledge that you can't count what the Hindus call the Brahman. Again, the conscious substrate of everything. You literally can't count it. You can count what exists in it, but not the Brahman itself. One of the Sanskrit terms for it is Adidas, which literally means the primal, original, the primary, that. It is termed that because you can't point to it and you can't see it. You can't point to it even if you point everywhere, which you physically can't do, even if you had as many arms as a Hindu god. You can't see it, not even under the couch, or gods forbid, should you look under the basement stairs. There's things there under those stairs that you might not be able to describe when you see them, but they are not that. Any description you try to make of it only describes what you think it is, but it, or that, is beyond, beneath, around, between, and inside of whatever you think you're describing. Even calling it that misses the point. Adidas is not to be confused with Adidas, who makes amazingly overpriced sneakers. The Sanskrit root for Adi is Ad, an ancient Indo-European prefix meaning first, as in Adam, the first man. Das means, and kind of sounds like that. It also has ancient Indo-European roots. On the other hand, or maybe foot, Adidas, the sneakers, are named after the German guy who started the company, Adolf Dassler. Ironically, when Jesse Owens pissed off Adolf Hitler in the 1936 Olympics by winning 4 gold medals, he was wearing spiked sneakers that were handmade by Adolf Dassler, the which sneakers Adi Dassler had talked Jesse into wearing. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, talking about that. Or as the Greek Orphic philosophers would put it, as said by Thomas Taylor, according to the theology of Orpheus, all things originate from an immense principle, to which through the imbecility and poverty of human conception we give a name, though it is perfectly ineffable. And in the reverential language of the Egyptians is a thrice unknown darkness, and the contemplation of which all knowledge is refunded into ignorance. Couldn't have phrased it better myself, so I didn't. You may read the text of this on my blog at bydean.com. That's BHAIDIN.com.
My brain hurts. I swear to God, my brain hurts. Ha! Thank you so much, Mr. Dean Cooper. Hey, you know what time it is? It's time to say howdy, y'all, to everybody out there in the Squatches Lounge live. Hang out. Come on into the revival tent. Come on in, hang around. Reverend Jeff's here. There's going to be some people around with some pots and some pans, and the donation tubs are all going to come on out. Come on into the tent here. Let's have us look around to see who's here tonight. Let's see here. I see there's Timothy McCune. How you doing there, sir? So glad you are with us. Cody John Away. I don't think I've seen that name before. So glad you are here. James the Grower. That man, he's always around, and I dig that dude. Jeremy Harrison. Michael Bird. There's Shane Barber. Cheryl Willen. How you doing? Big Daddy Dak. I think you are there. No, we are not flat. I promise you. Jay Gerd. The Brown Dwarf. Dean Cooper. Jonathan Doty, how you doing? Slick. A whole lot of people here tonight. Yeah, every day I get a cold. I don't just about that. Hey, Gent, how you doing, bud? Jay Gerd, if I didn't say hi, how you doing? Starshine, she's swinging that wrench around. Yeah, there's big changes coming from one of the Reverend Jeff channels. Yeah, come to the hangout tonight and find out. Gent. Yeah, I keep getting that same cough. Captain Caveman. I swear, the more every week goes by, I look like him. I need that round shirt and a big old club, and I'm in. I don't even think I need to get a new Halloween costume. I just need to finish my Captain Caveman one. Sam Squanch Rivera, how you doing there? So glad you're in the house. Oreo Cream Rocks, because it does. They need to make that in a tub, and I'd eat it with a spoon. I'm just horrible like that. That's what makes me a fat man. Brown Dwarf, if I didn't say hi, I think I did, but I'm going to say hi to you again because I like you. Hi. Where are we at? There he is, where his shoes were. Rodney Dupree is always in the place to be, of course. Now we're getting into repeats here at the top, so I can... Natalie Smith, I hope you're feeling okay. None of us really feel the greatest, but I seem to attract everybody that needs to be healed. So by the light of the Reverend, may you all feel the healing light of whatever you believe in. There you go. It's the best I can do for you tonight, people, because I love y'all. I want you here next week, too. Jeremy Harrison, hi. Kathy Yarborough, she's in the house. Natalie Smith, I'm pretty sure I said hi to you, but if I didn't, I have now. Let's see here. There were some people. Edmund F. Cool the Third, Spiritual Nutrition Master. Glad you could make it, sir. So glad you were here. Can Squanch was in the house. And there is yeah, I need some music in the background for this. I might have to get some. I can actually have some. Timothy McCune, Natalie Smith. I know there were people at the very whole Billy Jim. I saw him earlier. Whole Billy John. There we go. I didn't want to miss you either. All right. So if I haven't said your name yet, you better hurry up and get it done on the bottom, because otherwise I don't know that you were here. I skipped by a lot of this, but that's because I knew you people were here. All right, let's get down to the bottom so we can get down to it. We can listen to some of these Bigfoot sounds. I don't know if they're Bigfoot sounds, but now we're going to listen to them together, and we're going to make a determination whether or not they're there. Glitter Slimes. How you doing? How you doing there, Chief? Yeah, interesting name. Let's see here. Cheryl Willen, if I didn't say hi to you, I certainly have now, I think 2 or 3 times, but that's okay. Y'all love me, I love y'all, and that's why we're here. Okay, let's see here. What are we talking about tonight? Wisconsin. Yeah, I had to jog my memory there for just one moment. Like I said, it's just I had some weird discussions with people here the last couple of days about it's the year of the Bigfoot adventure. Everybody wants you to pay to go on Bigfoot adventures with them. Everybody from Squatching with Barb and Gabby to Cliff Barackman, $400 to $800 a pop. Go squatching with those. No guarantee you're going to see a squatch or anything. And yeah, we'll feed you, an MRE or something once a day. But other than that, you get nothing. The Kettle Marine State Forest here, that's where we're at. We're right next to Lake Michigan. We're on the other side of Michigan when we did the Michigan calls the last time is basically where we are. And if we kick over here to the satellite image, you'll get a little bit better idea that this isn't exactly flat land. We're just south of Canada here. This is the northern areas. It snows a lot here, which makes me wonder where the Bigfoot go in the wintertime. But you're living in a sea of green. There's a large corridor of movement that can be done through here. There's water reservoirs that most likely do not freeze through the winter time. And then, I don't see anybody making Bigfoot reports out on the coasts of Lake Michigan. So they must stay in these internal corridors. Or maybe they push north. I'm not really sure. But let's talk about it. The first instance I have for you tonight I wanted to bring to you is actually audio of people in a tent who had a fresh sighting. Like literally you're listening to the sighting unfold. And it's one of those instances that I kind of believe because of the way the guy is handling it. I mean, they're in Bigfoot areas. They're where Bigfoot sightings have been made. They've got Bigfoot calls coming from this area before. And while they're camping out there, this actually happens to them. What the fuck?
Weird. Down there. I swear to God, it looked like a monkey walking on all fours. I'm not shitting you. See the two base trees? They'll be further down. That's the only thing I could say it looked like. It looked like something on all fours walking and then went into the other trees and brush. Wow. It looked real to me. And it was silent. Mark it up. Huh? I don't know, but it was weird. I mean, honestly, right now, I'm telling you, I feel like I just saw it was 100% real. It didn't feel like my eyes were playing tricks on me at all.
Well, it's pretty white over there.
But it's weird because it made no sound. And it just, see the dark tree here, mm-hmm. Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, then you see the thinner one right in the middle. Now go further back, the branch going up, like it's kind of laying on its side a little bit. Okay. I don't know if you could see that.
No.
Okay, so you have the two big V's, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the one in the middle, and behind there you can still see another tree that's bent like this, and it was just beyond that.
Huh.
Weird.
How do you explain to somebody you're on an outing with that you saw what you think is a Bigfoot or a monkey walking on four limbs, and they didn't see it? You've got to be with somebody that either trusts your judgment or trusts you, and you've got to be vice versa. Otherwise, it's going to be a kind of a scary night from that point. But he didn't go running out after it. Like, you could hear in his voice that he was shocked by what he just saw. I mean, then he was lighting a cigarette, and unfortunately the audio, I don't know why the audio was clipping like that. I hope the rest of my audio isn't like that, because this is an audio show tonight with Bigfoot calls in it. So we'll try a few more, and if we have to cut it short, well then so be it. But we will keep trying out. I want to be, I want to be there. So you've got an instance like this that's happened in that forest, in that same location. And next up, there's a group out on night ops, and they catch a few things. There's a 15-minute video, and I did not run the original 15-minute video for you to listen to all those pieces inclined. But what I did do was go in and chop out the most interesting pieces of them. So this one is the clip 0 of the night ops, and it should be evident.
The last time Karen and I came here,
So that would have been the original, and then this would have been the enhanced to that. Let's give this one a shot.
the last time Karen and I came here,
What was that?
Let's take a second and reload that software and see if that doesn't make it better. Sorry about that. That's one of those whoops in the background, and I can hear it through my headphones. Like I said, this is free technology that gets put forth by YouTube. I don't have control over the cleanliness of it, shall we say. I do the absolute best I can with what I have to work with. So we'll take just a minute to reload all of that. The next part of that clip, and this is within the same period of time, there's something back there, wooing and making noise at them. I doubt that it's anybody in their group. That sound didn't sound so squatchy that it couldn't have been outside of human range for any particular reason. The heck is going on here? Okay, sorry, I had to check resources and all kinds of good things. It's just horrible when everything gets pegged out. Anyhow, let's see if we can play that clip for you one more time. No, apparently not.
the last time Karen came here,
What was that?
the last time Karen and I.
Well, okay. Unfortunately, it's going to be really horrible tonight. So let's just push through these. There's a second one on here that sounds like a mimic. Now there's 3 minutes of it. If it gets bad, I'm just going to cut it. But you can hear that there's a mimic of some kind of an animal, a shrill owl type of sound, but it's definitely not an owl.
Oh yeah. I'm just filming, taking my time, and trying to.
That's just going to be miserable. So
I just heard a howl.
let me see if the enhancement will at least run.
Wild animal or something. listening. And I'll keep listening.
All right, unfortunately, that one's just going to be miserable. Oh, the Torettos are back. Sorry, folks. It's one of them nights. It really, really is. This is going to be probably one of the worst rated shows ever in the history of the SLP. Sorry, Wisconsin. I'm just not doing y'all justice, but your Bigfoot vocals have sucked. I have worked with these things all damn day to try and present something here, and it is just failing miserably. So you know what? The sun's going to shine on a dog's ass someday. Today's not my day. So let's get through this very last one. This is again in that Kettle forest area. Here's the original. It's 17 seconds. Let's see if it'll play this one. Apparently not. Nah, it doesn't want to do that.
Bye-bye.
You know, now there was what was a whoop in the very beginning of that, and tree knocks at the very end of it. Let's try to. Let's see if it'll play.
Bye-bye.
Here's the enhancement of the hoop. Oh, finally. That was the last clip of the night, folks. We finally got through them all, at least. I don't know what you were able to hear out there. Don't shoot me. I can't help it. It can't always be perfect. Blah, blah, blah. I know. You know, there's a lot of subtlety in the woods that you hear things like that, and you're like, well, that's not something I'm familiar with. What the heck is that? And you sit around and you listen to it for a while, and you try and figure it out. Like some of the things I went through tonight in Wisconsin, they were fox. I heard one cougar letting out a sex growl that just would have scared the living shit out of anybody, but it wasn't Bigfoot. It was definitely feline. If it wasn't a cougar, it was a bobcat. But and I don't mean a 61-year-old cruising the high school cougar. Anyhow, for sure, you know, Wisconsin has a lot of Bigfoot sightings. They've got some strange audio that comes out of their woods, but so far, nothing spectacular. I don't have any roars. I don't have any yells. I don't have any howls. So if you guys find any links to Wisconsin howls, yips, hoops, or wails, send them to me. We'll try Wisconsin another night. But apparently tonight was just not that night. But saying that, I do have a great Bigfoot or real Bigfoot encounter to leave you with this evening. So that's what we will do. It's a long one too, so you'll enjoy it. Probably the first time any of you have heard it. And it comes from right here in California in the desolation. Oh, crap. That's audio too. Huh. Well then. I don't know if that's going to work or not. We'll find out. If not, I'll put it back up for next week. I'm so sorry, folks. We're going to try and run the real Bigfoot encounter and see how it goes. Thanks for being here and at least listening to me. You got the news. You listened to me rant. Come to the camp out May 18th, 19th, and 20th in Georgetown, California at the Black Oak Large Group Camp. I've got a big spot reserved for up to 50 people. And so far we're filling up, but we got like 30. So send me an email to sloungepodcast at gmail.com and look for the merch link in the description after the show. Thank you so much for being here, and may the Squatch be with you. Well, welcome to another episode of Real Bigfoot Encounters with Reverend Jeb. This report is one of our favorites. It's one of those very close encounters where the Bigfoot actually tries to make contact with the witness. Many times people are not prepared for what they're about to see. This is one of those stories. I used to live in Camino, California, and I'd go up to the Desolation Wilderness as often as I could. The trout fishing was really incredible, and it left a wonderful lasting memory with me. Since moving from the area, I hadn't been there in several years. I talked to a friend of mine about going up and camping overnight to do some stream fishing. He agreed and also invited another friend along for the ride. We got up there early afternoon and hiked upstream from Wright's Lake and then set up camp. A couple hours later, a ranger came by and informed us that we hadn't actually made it into the Desolation Wilderness yet and that we needed to keep hiking for a while. We broke camp, and then the two guys that were with me suggested we go to Placerville and get a room. Apparently, they weren't into camping and fishing after all. I said no thanks. I wanted to come up here to fish and camp, not party somewhere in town. So they left, and I went on up the hill further. The ranger suggested a great camping and fishing location, but because it was starting to get later in the afternoon, there's no way I would reach it tonight. He gave me a general location of where it could be found and what trails to take to get there, but when most of the area is large football field-sized sheets of granite, the trails are only marked with stacks of rocks, and those are far and few between. I ended up getting lost a little bit, but I could hear the stream flowing from the rocks just north of me. I walked in another half mile or so and located the stream. It was below me, about 35 feet down a granite cliff with a stream. It had a pool in it right on the tree line. I thought what a beautiful place it would be to have a campsite, and then picked my way down that steep cliff. I set up my camp directly next to the pool, and also within the tree line were some very dense woods about 6 feet away to the north. The pool was on the east side of me. I started fishing as soon as my tent was back up, and I had a gorgeous finish to a very nice day. Then, after it got dark, I climbed into my sleeping bag, looking to the east of the Crystal Range, I think it's called, and watched as the glow of the full moon worked its way up over the top of the granite mountains. Once it was over, my day was complete, and I decided to go to sleep. That was about 10:30 p.m. As I started to drift off to sleep, I heard what could only be described as a very low rumbling sound. When I go into the wilderness area, especially a place I know berries are really thick, I always carry a handgun with me. On this occasion, it was a .45 compact. When I heard the growl, it really scared the crap out of me, but it was so close. I jumped up with my .45, put it in my hand, and looked out the top of the screen mesh on the tent. I could see a dark mass about 4.5 feet tall right at the edge of the tree line, 6 feet from my head. I yelled some really loud obscenities and started to climb out of my tent. Once I was clear of the door, I brought my pistol and fired into a dead tree a few feet away from what I thought was a big black bear. As soon as the pistol went off, it turned and ran back into the brush, but it didn't seem to go very far, about 50 feet or so into that very thick brush. I could hear it thrashing about as it moved deeper into the trees, but then it just stopped. It all went quiet for about 15 minutes or so, and I again tried to get back into bed. Shortly after, I started hearing what sounded like some large rocks hitting in the water just above the pool where I was camped. It would happen every couple of minutes or so. It was the sound of not only the splash, but also the rock hitting the other rocks submerged in the shin-deep water. That crackling sound. This really concerned me, thinking of the bear might be circling my campsite and trying to get me from a different angle. I got in my tent on several occasions and was trying to see if I could make out any movement on the other side of the stream, but I could see nothing. I usually keep a small flashlight in my tackle box, which I had, but it was gone. It was one of those small shake-it types that charges with the cell and the lights up a few minutes. Not much of a flashlight, really, and worse yet, the handle's clear. So when I turned it on, the handle would light up too. Things went on like this till about 2 a.m. I didn't get to see whatever it was. I heard movement really close to the tent again. It was the same place it was the first time, and I yelled at it. I got a return of something that sounded like an oof, oof, but really deep sounding. I jumped out of my tent again, thinking I was going to see it again, but again, saw absolutely nothing. Still, I put another shot into the dead tree, and off it went, crashing through the brush again. It again only went in about 50 feet into that thick brush. There was something odd about the way it sounded when it was running, too. It was only on 2 feet. It concerned me enough to realize that it didn't sound like a four-legged animal at the time, but I didn't know that it was different until I heard some of the recordings on different websites. Anyhow, still thinking I was dealing with a rogue bear, I started trying to figure out what it wanted with me. Was I camped on its trail to water? Was it used to finding food in tents? Desolation's a very high traffic place. This particular place was way off the trail, and it didn't appear to have much in the way of hikers. Hikers usually leave some kind of trash or fish hooks or something to say that they had been there before. This place was clean. So I decided to take my sleeping bag out of the tent and move over to the middle of this big slab of granite that I was on. There's about 4 foot tall of a ledge facing the woods where all the activity was going on, but now the tree line was over 50 feet away and not 6. Figuring this at least give me some advance warning if I got charged. The rocks kept flying, and I kept standing up trying to see exactly what was going on, and I was on it all night long. Then she showed up. It was 4:40 a.m., and something woke me. I heard movement at the tree line again, and I looked to where all of it had started from. I didn't see anything, but then I looked at my tent, and standing right next to my tent was the creature. My tent is about 4 feet tall, maybe a little less, and what I saw was more than twice as tall. At first, I couldn't see any of the features, just the outline. Then it took a couple of steps towards me. I almost pissed my pants right there. I picked up the .45 and took a shot off the left of it. It stopped and looked at me. Then it started walking towards me again. The steps were so big. The distance was closing very fast. Had it been a bear, I would have shot it immediately. But honestly, I don't think my .45 would have been able to stop this thing in its tracks. Then as it was approaching me, I took another shot, but this one much closer. I could see it very clearly at this point, and yes, I did piss my pants right there. The second shot made her stop again, and then she took off running to the northwest through an area of mostly granite slab dotted with some pine scrub. This was the last time I saw her. She ran out of sight, and it was at great speed. I pretty much stayed put with the ledge to my back and the gun in my hand and shaking in my skin. I've not been able to sleep right since then, and for the next couple of months after the incident, I couldn't sleep at all. Every time I closed my eyes, I could hear the growls and the rock splashing and then see her coming at me. I've been a hunter and a fisherman my entire life. Nothing like this has ever shown its face before, and I hope that it never does again. Bob. When the figure got about 15 feet of the witness, the bright full moon illuminated the front, and it allowed this witness to see some details of the face and shape. Among other things, the animal's face was similar to a human, with the nose being slightly wider and the lips about the same proportion as a human. The nostrils faced downwards, not outward like a gorilla. The lower jaw was wider and larger in proportion to the head than a human. There was hair on the face and on the head and on the shoulders as well. The arms were considerably longer, ranging from 3 to 8 inches longer. The hair was not thick like fur, as you could actually see the skin through the hair itself in places. The witness says that he could see her breasts, and he decided that it was a female based on that observation. The breasts were large and saggy, but everything else for the most part was proportionate. They weren't excessively large. Yes, when I saw the nipples, they were brown in color. The eyes appeared brown with no white showing. Eyes were about the same size in proportion to the head as a human's would be. The level of the mouth was even at the shoulders. The arm length was longer than human, with the fingertips not quite reaching the knees. The head was conical in appearance from the side, but the cone was not exactly evident when facing the animal. The back of the head appeared mainly flat, coming down from the peak of the crown towards the shoulders. The preceding description is related by the witness as he's sitting on the ground 15 feet away from the animal, looking upwards at it. I'm sure for him it was probably one of the most terrifying encounters of his life. For me, it's just another real Bigfoot encounter. Thanks for listening. I'm Reverend Jeff, and may the Squatch be with you. Hey, at least that worked right tonight. Thanks everybody for being here. We'll see you next week. May the Squatch be with you.